The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my show, The Right Side. Doug Billings here with you. Today on the program, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wow. Yeah, we're going to look at the self-destruction of the once poster girl of the MAGA movement, how her coming out party, if you will, on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes, of all places, the bastion of fake news. This is damage control central for her career in shambles now. MAGA is strong. MAGA is America First. The party has been rebranded by President Trump, and that will be the way it is from now on. Marjorie Taylor Greene, once, the firebrand, the in-your-face prima donna of the conservative movement, is out on the streets, and she's peddling her wares on 60 Minutes. I'm going to explain the whys, the wheres, and the how-withs with regards to why this was a catastrophic mistake for her career and why it happened in the first place, and how Trump and the MAGA movement are completely unaffected, no matter what the legacy media says. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Side with Doug Billings is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right Side with Doug Billings, Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. A few housekeeping things. First of all, follow me on YouTube, please. The channel was just restored. I got the magic email a couple of weeks ago. We made a mistake, Mr. Billings, and when we canceled your account and your channel. Please accept our apologies. So here we are back on YouTube at The Right Side Doug Billings. The Right Side Doug Billings, the handle at Doug Billings, at The Right Side Doug Billings. Let's say it one more time. The Right Side Doug Billings on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on all the socials. Follow me on X. Find me over there, the world's #1 source of news in the world now, at Doug Billings. On YouTube, X, Truth Social, Facebook. Follow me, follow The Right Side, and subscribe so that you get the notifications of when I drop new content like this. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, OMG, wow. It is something you don't see very often when people have meltdowns on our side, because we conservatives are the ones that can handle adversity, challenge, and tragedy, okay? We pass our way through these things, and we realize that in the midst of that, there are blessings waiting to be born. Today, I'm going to zero in on a story that's got everybody buzzing. Everybody's buzzing about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the explosive 60 Minutes interview with Lesley Stahl. Wow. Not just gossip, glaring spotlight on one of our firebrand's most embarrassing pivots, a self-inflicted wound that MTG has given herself that has left her reputation in tatters now, and while the rest of us rally stronger than ever around the unshakable core of our movement. That's what it is. That's basically the state of play. And from a pro-Trump, pro-MAGA perspective, this is a teachable moment, really. It's a reminder that straying from the pack doesn't shatter us. It spotlights the pretenders, and it reinforces why MAGA is the heartbeat of America First. Really. Let me give you the conservative analysis that no one else can give you, or who no one else will give it to you because they're too afraid or they just don't get it. In exposing this flop, we reassure every patriot listening. The vast majority, ladies and gentlemen, of the GOP, from the House to the Senate to Kansas City to Phoenix to Los Angeles to Maryland and everywhere else in between the two shining seashores, the vast majority of Republicans stand shoulder to shoulder with President Trump, echoing the will of most Americans who want secure borders, secure elections, booming economies, and unapologetic patriotism. And we don't want people who are politically correct or part of the political establishment. So first off, I'll set the scene here for you. I'll give you the backdrop because it's a tale of unexpected surrender, really, when you look at this. Greene, who is fresh off of her sudden resignation from Congress, gives her first post-quit interview to 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Once upon a time, Greene was this MAGA darling, a powerhouse, charging in D.C. like a Georgia tornado, right? Voting with Trump 98% of the time, blasting the big tech censors out there in the world, calling out the COVID overlords and the nonsense surrounding that, calling out January 6th as a farce as it was and set up by Pelosi and Schumer and the rest of the Communist Socialists, formerly known as Democrat Party. But now she bows out, citing threats and an escalated sense of temper against her after Trump dubbed her Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, folks, threats are no joke. That's a serious matter. But they don't come from the right. The left, with their venom, that's the real relentless threat. But using the threats as a crutch to air grievances on primetime fake news, especially 60 Minutes, come on, Marjorie. So that's not resilience in my book. That's retreating to the spotlight for a pity parade. As far as I am concerned, her reputation, once it was an ironclad, solid reputation among the base, but now it looks like a house of cards collapsing under the weight of her own contradictions. So in the interview, Greene unloads on her supposed fallout with the boss, right? Accusing President Trump of drifting from America First, with foreign aid to Israel and Ukraine, donor-driven crypto pushes, lax vaccine mandates and crackdowns. I shouldn't say mandates, but crackdowns. But the flashpoint for all of this was her demand for Jeffrey Epstein file transparency, which prompted Trump then to brand her a traitor and a lunatic. And folks, yes, Trump is the most transparent president we have ever had in the history of this republic. There is nothing about Trump and the Epstein files. Now, for the sake of the victims, we should release everything the victims want released, and Trump has done it. If there's any holdup to that, we've got to blame the systems that are set in place with Congress, because Trump has ordered it to be released, he signed it, and it should be done. Marjorie, even when she was talking, likened her relationship to an abusive marriage. She said, "Well, I'm not going to be anyone's battered wife." Well, boo-hoo. I'm not making fun of domestic abuse, but this is ridiculous, folks. Dramatic? Absolutely dramatic. But let's reframe this. Let's be creative, my friends. Imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene as the star of her own tragic comedy. Right there on CBS with 60 Minutes, the Traitor's Tango, ladies and gentlemen, where she dances away from the very movement that helped to elevate her in the first place, only to trip on her own feet on national television, which is what we saw yesterday. Trump's not the villain here, folks. He's the steadfast captain, steering us through the storms of the radical liberal nonsense Think about the Abraham Accords. Real peace without bottomless war crisis. Ukraine, okay, let's talk about Ukraine. Trump's brokerage deals will stop the financial bleeding of the United States, not Biden's endless handouts. Ukraine is now paying for the aid that we give them and the weaponry. Epstein, give me a break, folks. Trump is declassifying secrets left and right. If delays exist, like I said, blame the deep state roadblocks that he, by the way, is trying to bulldoze. Then comes the real facepalm moment, right? Greene proclaims she's ditching MAGA altogether. Now, interesting. I don't know about you folks, but I'm a believer in belief. I'm a believer in conviction. I'm a believer in loyalty. MAGA is toxic, she says with fake tears. She's trying to make herself cry. I'm American first, yes, but MAGA is toxic. Oh, honey. Oh, honey. That's like claiming you're all about apple pie but swearing off the apples. MAGA is America first. There is no separating the two. MAGA is America first, and it's woven into the fabric of our movement and our fight for sovereignty, for jobs, values, a return to the intent of the founding fathers and divine providence. That's MAGA and America first. It's the engine that powered Trump to 2 White House terms. Yes, I know. Powered him to 3 White House wins, ladies and gentlemen. I know. I can hear you. I know. It's why we reclaimed the House and held the line against the 2020 shenanigans. Without MAGA, my friends, really, we'd be choking on Fauci's mandates and more Soros-funded chaos. Greene's attempt to rebrand herself is, as far as I can tell, she's just trying to brand herself as some lone wolf purist out there. Well, it's embarrassing. A reputation-ruining misstep that screams spotlight over substance. Spotlight over substance, that's what it is. And Leslie Stahl, please, she grills her on old conspiracy theories. 9/11 theories, it was an inside job. Parkland doubts, coaxing Greene into a broad apology for this term toxic politics, even echoing it later when she went on CNN. Apologizing on enemy turf, Marjorie? Really? That's not owning the fight. That's waving a white flag. Damaging her credibility with everybody, with the very folks who elevated her, cheered her on, and gave her prominence. And the back and forths between Stahl and Greene really got hot there for a while. They were intense. Stahl jabs at Greene for stroking a division. Marjorie Taylor Greene retorts, Leslie, you've contributed to it all as well. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. No, you have. Yes, I have. No. CBS has been peddling poison, lies, and fake news since Benghazi, if not before. So Greene doubles down on her edgier takes, labeling Gaza as a genocide, really, nixing the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, calling out it in saying that it's nonsense. You think that's gutsy? Maybe if you're living in isolation chambers, maybe. But packaged in with this resignation rant, it comes off as an erratic, alienating the allies kind of speech while cozying up to a narrative that the left, my friends, absolutely loves. Because then they make it feel and sound as if Marjorie Taylor Greene is just a symptom of an internal civil war over at the RNC. The Republican Party's in a civil war. Well, they need to have that narrative on the left because it's them, in fact, who are in the midst of a civil war. It's classic gaslighting, classic projection. They've been in a civil war since the shutdown that just ended a few weeks ago. The radical liberal movement is in a civil war between the decent-minded, normal-thinking Democrats who still exist in that party versus the wildly un-American and anti-patriotic radical liberal wing. I call them the Communist Socialist Party, and they're clearly not pro-America. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, is out. She's phoned Trump personally. She got zero coddling. She just got pushback from the VP, J.D. Vance. That's leadership, folks. It's meaningless. He said no more drama queens. Vance did. It's leadership. It's not meanness. People are not being mean to Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's called leadership, and it's called holding people accountable to their positions. Trump's clapped back on all of this, pure presidential poetry, as far as I'm concerned. Just a few hours after that 60 Minutes interview aired, Trump takes to his platform Truth Social. Marjorie Taylor Greene, redo. And he demands that 60 Minutes, he's going to sue 60 Minutes and they need to reimburse him for the hit job, claiming that, 60 Minutes was just bought out by Paramount. So Paramount's new bosses are swamp relics, according to Trump. And he hints at these legal fireworks. Because, Trump has sued a few of these big legacy media outlets, and he's won for slander and defamation of character and so forth. So you see on social media, voices on X like Cat Turd, he's hilarious. Memes coming like crazy. It's a viral takedown of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And why? Because it's not fracturing us, ladies and gentlemen. It's fumigating the house. Getting rid of the folks, the rats, the chaff, the people who don't belong. And the media is desperate to paint cracks where there are none. But Greene's solo stumble onto television the other night on the 61. Don't make it any more than it is, Doug. On the 60 Minutes episode, highlights her damaged standing, and while the GOP, the Republican Party, the MAGA America First movement marches on in harmony. We're not missing a step, folks. We're not missing a beat. And here's the reassurance you need, my friends. Let's get creative for a minute. Think of MAGA as America's mighty oak tree, its roots deep in the soil of freedom, right? Branches stretching from sea to shining sea and throughout the fruited plains. Greene's little leaf falling off, that's all she is. She's just a leaf falling off that tree. It doesn't topple the trunk. It just makes room for new growth. That's the metaphor. That's what this all is. The vast majority of Republicans in Congress, over 90% in the House and in the Senate, align with President Trump's agenda on borders, on trade, on law and order, on deportation, and draining the swamp. They are firmly grafted to that tree, the MAGA tree, with deep roots into patriotism, liberty, and freedom, the American dream. They are not wavering. They're winning. Passing defense bills with Ukraine with caps on them, advancing artificial intelligence reform to unleash innovation, backing the Supreme Court plays to expand executive muscle. The Trump wins are continual. And he is pressing charges. Got John Bolton, we got James Comey. There are going to be new charges against him, and they're going to appeal the former. Letitia James, you're going to see Clapper, Stroke, Brennan. You're going to see former Director Wray. You're going to see a lot of people, maybe even Obama himself, indicted, because MAGA embodies America first, the policies that most Americans crave. Safe streets, thriving jobs, no more endless wars. And the polls show it. Over 70% of Americans want secure borders. 65% back the tariffs on China. And a solid majority trust Trump to fix the messes in the economy that Administrator Biden left behind. This isn't fringe, folks. That's not radicalism. That is mainstream America. The people's mandate that Greene's embarrassing detour can't dim. And from a pro-Trump vantage, I admit this fiasco is empowering for us. It's not about trashing Marjorie Taylor Greene, by the way. She earned her stripes once. It's about calling out the embarrassment of abandoning ship mid-victory. Her reputation, if you ask me, dented, maybe even beyond repair, because the base is saying she might as well fade off into what-if obscurity. What if she hadn't fallen off the cliff here into Kookville? But us, you and me, the movement, MAGA, America First, it's surging. 11 months into Trump's second act with deep state probes dropping like dominoes, the economy firing on all pistons. We have a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. Affordability is an issue. Grocery prices aren't where we want them yet. But the immigration crackdown is underway. The borders are closed. Law and order is back. No room for ego trips like Greene's when it comes to the mission that is at hand. Think about the ripple effects here for a moment. This could inspire fence sitters to commit fully to our side, knowing that straying leads to irrelevance. If you stray away from the movement now, you're going to become irrelevant. No mark in history, no ability or a capability to help the Republic. And the hypothetical here, if Greene style flips, in other words, if people look at this Greene flip and say, hey, I might want to do that. If this becomes trendy, midterms might wobble, but they won't, because the Republican Party is unified behind Trump, mirroring the American majority's hunger for real change. Fresh faces, locked-in loyalists, that's the 2026 powerhouse, because there is so much winning on every level. Trump's going to go on an affordability tour, and he's going to talk about the economy in real, honest terms. It's only been 11 months, and you and I, as conservative patriots, have got to begin to spread the news that we can't fix everything within a year. Some of this stuff is going to require the full term of President Trump and then go into J.D. Vance's term as president, which I believe he'll win in 2028 and again in 2032. And we tie this back to the good people, you who watch this show, the people throughout America, the hardworking truckers in Missouri, the ranchers in Kansas, the moms in Iowa building and battling school boards and so forth. MAGA is your voice because Trump hears it. Government is your servant. It's not your master. That's Trump's message also. Greene's mistake? A blip on the radar. Her reputation taking the hit, while our resolve in the MAGA, America First movement shines even brighter. This story actually reaffirms that MAGA is America First. They are inseparable, indomitable. The GOP majority marches with President Trump, backed by most Americans, because it's not just politics, my friends. It is patriotism. The other side, the radical left communist socialists, formerly known as the Democrat Party, want to fundamentally transform America away from the founding fathers, and more importantly, away from God. So Greene's embarrassment and all of this is just a footnote. Our chapter, our movement is epic, and it continues. Thanks for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the faith on the right side. We are in this thing together, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, Doug Billings. Hey, my good friends at EMP Shield, that's electromagnetic pulse, in case you're from Raytown, Missouri. Electromagnetic pulse could wipe out your home electrical system, could wipe out your vehicle. And thanks to the radical liberal agenda that was put forth under Administrator Biden and Vice Pretender Harris, there are lots of people in this country who want to do us harm. And maybe an EMP device would be their chosen weapon. But EMP Shield gives you a device that can protect you. This little baby here goes on your home outlets, a computer, a router, whatever you want to protect. And then they also have a larger model like this. You can still hold it in the palm of your hand that goes on your vehicle battery so that you can get out of trouble from point A to point B. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself, save your property. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug. We're in this together, folks. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.